In the name of God, the compassionate, the merciful. I'm talking about page 223 and the third idea of multi-competence view. Multi-competence view. Simply, when you actually go to this idea, it is against idea 1 and idea 2. Idea 1 was that we have one language on page 221. We said if we have got one language, this is the best. Well, on the next page, we said that if we have got two languages, it is the best. And simply in this part, we say that, well, if native speakers in fact, everybody talks more than one language, more than two languages, this is the best thing that they can do. Well, 223, line 1 when the new discussion begins, 4 lines to the beginning, to the end, and line 5 to the end, actually says something like this. The multi-competence theory, within which one of us, actually Cook 2002, sees these issues differently. What does it mean? Actually, some guys like Cook, Cook is an important guy in applied linguistics, and she works actually within the realm of second language acquisition and learning. She has got this third idea. She actually says monolingual is out, bilingualism is bilingual, one mind with two languages again is out. The best thing is that one language with several minds. Let us see. Line 2, page 223, line 2 at the end of the page says, if most people, or indeed all people, have multiple grammars in their minds, the idealization of monolingual native speaker is misleading. It is not good. If you have got one language, it is not good. Why? Because two languages, three languages, more than two languages is the best. The idealization of monolingual native speaker is misleading with one language, and as inaccurate as the studying how human beings breathe by looking at those with a single line. Okay? Human beings have got two lungs. Okay? Two lungs. I suppose they call it in Arabic, you call it Ria. Or Ria. You have got two Riyas. Okay? One to the left of your chest, the other to the right of your chest. So if you say that there's one person with one language, it is like to say that there's a kind of person with one line, not two lines. L-U-N-G. L-U-N-G means, well, actually, you see, the two, in fact, lungs that with which, the two balloons with which we actually bring in and out. Like this. If you have got one language, if you have got one Ria, if you have got one, let's say, line, you have got a problem. All human beings, with no exception, have got two, in fact, lines. Similarly, this idealization, this idea that we can have one language, not two languages, is misleading. So let us go to talk about more than one language. Going to page 224, line 3, on top of the page, line 3 says something like this. Purifying the mind into a single language means destroying the actual substance we are speaking. We are speaking about English as a second language. Okay? we are going to teach English as a second language. So if we say only there must be one language, well, everybody like you, everybody like me must go out, see? Go away from the colleges, go away from the universities. Don't go to get a degree. No, this is not like this. We say that, well, one language, one mind can have several languages available to them. So this is the whole idea which appears on page 224. From this part on, I'm going to in fact talk about things that shows that more than two languages, several languages is available to the children. Okay? Well, going to the new paragraph on page 224, we see that line 1, 2, 3 says, well, all children can become bilingual. All children can become bilingual. Okay? The ability to know more than one language is available to us all, to everybody like me and you, to all human beings, okay? To us all, to all human beings. Even if it may decline after childhood. This happens in many parts in Iran, and I suppose this happens in many parts in Iraq as well, especially the southern parts of Iraq, the central and southern parts of Iraq. Well, we have one language, Arabic. Many parts, don't mean all parts. And the central parts of Iran, and the central parts of Iran, and sometime around these areas, well, we have one language. This is bad. This is bad. Which one is good? An area where two languages are spoken. What happens to the child? The child actually develops both languages at the same time. At what age? 5, 4, 6, 3. They know two languages at the same time with no cost. Okay? As easy as that. Well, so we say, people like me, myself, who lives in the central parts of Iran, who speaks only one language. When I was born, everybody around me only talked Farsi. This is bad. If it was like this, that there were some people talking another language. In addition to Farsi, I would learn that language as well, because children are, in fact, very good at the second language, the third languages. Okay? So there are so many people in Iran, okay, that speak two languages. I told you. Well, native speakers of Turkish, actually, because the only language which is official language in Iran is Farsi. But if you're born with another language, you have got this potentiality available to you for no cost. Mejana. You are able to learn two languages at the same time in these places. Okay? This is very good. This is very good. In the childhood, you actually develop 2-3 languages. And this is available in Iran. And this is available in many parts of Iran, but not, in fact, Tehran, Isfahan, Shiraz, Mashhad, Qom. In these areas, there is only one language. There's only one language. So when you go out, you go to, in fact, shopping malls, etc., there's only one language. In Qom, Tehran, Mashhad, Shiraz, whatever. But there are cities in Iran with two languages, like Zanjan, Tabriz, Urmia, talking both Turkish and Persian. If you actually talk in Turkish, everybody knows. If you actually talk in Farsi, everybody knows. So when we go to those areas, because we don't know Turkish, what happens to us? We simply talk in Farsi. And why? Because they have got two languages available. When you go to parts of Khuzestan, actually, it's easy for you to go to parts of Khuzestan, because Khuzestan, of course, it's very hot there during summer. But actually, there are Arabs there. There are Arabs there. You can talk in Arabic as well, okay, in addition to Farsi. What happens when you are in Tehran? You only have to talk in Farsi. Well, this situation is good when there is a place with 2 languages, 3 languages spoken in one area. What happens? Kids, children develop all languages, all these languages. There are cases like this that the father is, for example, Iranian, and the mother is from the United States. What happens? The father and mother talk to the child, and the child actually talks 2 languages. Or in Iran, suppose that there is a kind of marriage between one individual who is a Turk and another individual who is Fars. What is the result? The kids actually develop 2 languages at the same time. There are so many Iraqis in Iran with pure Persian accent. Pure Persian accent. When they talk in Farsi, you will never understand that they actually know another language, Arabic. There are so many people from Iraq, from Syria, from, let's say, the Gulf, in Iran with this potentiality. Why? Because they actually developed 2 languages when they were kids. 2 languages. Arabic, their mother tongue, and Farsi, their second language. This is the best. Talking with more than 1 language. Well, I don't want to continue with the discussion. This is easy for you to talk here. So you actually go to this area as something which is the norm. So I want to continue with and conclude with one line, which is the first line of page 224. The 1, 2, 3. Before 6.4, there's a paragraph. I'm going to read the first 2 lines. This position then treats the monolinguals of the world as the norm, not the in fact, multilinguals of the world as the norm, not monolinguals or bilinguals. Okay. This is what I wanted to say. I'm going to repeat it once more. This position then treats multilinguals of the world as the norm. Full stop.